stock and mild to inventive and wild, the Barrett-Jackson Collector Car Auction in Las Vegas had the full spectrum of amazing pickups. Hi there, I'm Rick DeBrule. Thanks for joining us for our Top 10 series. Today we're looking at the top 10 pickup sales from the Barrett-Jackson Collector Car Auction in Las Vegas. And you know, the great thing about pickups is they're really a wonderful palette. You can, as I said, say mild and stock, or you can go all the way to incredible customs. And today's top 10 list has that full spectrum of amazing pickups. All right, let's start with number 10. In this case, it's a 1957 Chevrolet 3100, and this one sold for $72,600. Chevrolet 3100 custom pickup truck.
Well, custom is the word. Under the hood is a 468 big block Chevy. I hope we can open it. Well, if not, this one has what look like dual quads, but they're actually a pair of Fi-Tech throttle bodies. And on the bed of this 57, we see the 1958 fleet side bed. Not a cameo, fleet side. The difference is 75 inches of width versus only about 45 inches of width with the cameo. But again, this is a 58 bed leading the way on this 57. Like the custom rolled panel with the exhaust pipes coming through. Nice touch.
Nice burgundy leather, looks great with that deep metallic gray paint, as set off by those wide, deep dish torque thrust style wheels, low profile tires and big brakes.
Speaking of wide, this one has the optional wraparound cab backlight.
Steve, that was offered as a safety enhancement because it reduced the blind spot, especially to the right rear for the driver.
I'll come back to the other truck. Sorry, I'll come back. Hang on, let's get this one.
You talk about that bed. There were so many different names once they decided to go away from the step side. You know, there was the style side, there was the fleet side. I think Jeep called theirs the town side, swept line, all different kind of names. But the bottom line was people wanted that smooth look going down the side, and so everybody came up with a different version of it. $66,000 for a 1957 Chevrolet 3100 custom pickup truck. All right, we're going from old to new, from 1957 to 2021. Check this out. We're going eastbound and down with this 2021 Jeep Gladiator Bandit Outlaw Edition, customized. Final sale price, $78,100. A little while ago, we previewed this 2021 Jeep Gladiator Custom, and now it's up on the block.
Well, there's a company, Bandit Movie Cars, out of Florida that does replicas of the Burt and Hal Smokey and the Bandit Trans Ams, that being Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham, who conceived the movie and who is its director. So if you like Firebird Trans Am style and you want a Jeep Gladiator pickup, your ride has arrived.
This kind of is the ultimate mixing up metaphors. I mean, if you leave a Trans Am and a Wrangler in a garage overnight, this might be what you get. Some people love them. I think it's okay. The hood has what appears to be a shaker. It's not. It's a bolt-on item, but it's pretty cool. Very tasteful with the gold and black, almost like the John Player special race cars of the 1970s.
That little emblem dates all the way back to when Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham owned a NASCAR team, the Skull Bandit team. Their eventual driver, Harry Gant, had great success with that team.
Now the
Stan Barrett, the stuntman, was their original race driver.
Gladiator has Dana 44 rear and front axles, but these are extra strength with thicker wall tubing than the basic item. Similar parts inside, but again, thicker wall tubing. These are heavy vehicles, and you need a big, strong axle to keep everything in its place.
I love this trim, which goes all the way back to the Cosworth Vega, the John Player Special Capris, in black with gold pinstripe. Would I do a car like that today? Yes, I would. I love it.
From that modern Gladiator, we're going to go back in time just a little bit. We've got a two-way tie for the number 8 top sale of the pickup trucks at Las Vegas. In this case, the first one we're going to talk about is a 1979 Dodge Power Wagon Custom, but it tied with a 1955 Ford F-100 custom pickup truck, both of them selling for $81,400.
Lot number 789.1, changes made to the description since the catalog for a 1955 Ford F-100 custom pickup, sold on bonded title, using the complete underpinnings of the famed Ford SVT Lightning, supercharged 5.4-liter V8, Lightning-specific automatic transmission, limited slip 9 3/4 rear end with 373 ratio.
$75,000. Everybody through and down. $5, 4, 5. $75 right again. Hey, Jody, you're out. $75,000. Sold. 74,000. Shane.
Well, up behind it is a 1979, same year, Dodge Power Wagon. This one is a custom pickup truck that Courtney previewed just a little while ago.
Well, this one has been modified by a second owner. The effects that you see on this one are not factory, but that's okay. I like the 1970 Super B hood scoops on there. They've been merged in place. They don't function, but they look pretty cool, give it an aggressive vibe. Of course, front and rear leaf springs, live axles on the Power Wagon. Four-wheel drive pickup truck. No independent front suspensions on Dodge all-wheel drive pickup trucks do you get into the 1990s. Let's get into the chassis cam and have a peek underneath and see how clean it is. Well, what we see on this one, of course, is the beam axles front and rear painted orange to match the body. Really sanitary underneath. I like it.
Yeah, and the great thing about this, the stance is so high that you can see all that as it's rolling by. The color is called House of Color Sunset Pearl. You see it up above, you see it on the differential down below, the drive shaft, all that chrome all the way throughout. Very, very nicely done, and it's bringing solid money. The current bid, $50,000. It's also got a great vintage air climate control system, so it's going to be enjoyable driving around. Not only is it big and tall, it's going to be comfortable inside.
Now, under the hood on this one, there's a fast EFI system. What is fast? Well, Fuel and Spark Technology is the name of the company. It's shortened up to FAST. And of course, the EFI system on this is a throttle bodies type deal with a 4-barrel throttle body with the injectors built into it. But again, the beauty of the fuel injection system is there's no choke. Generally, no cold start enrichment. There's no need to worry about richening and washing the oil off the cylinder walls. And if they're dialed in properly, EFI systems are wonderful.
Well, this has just become the #1 seller of the day. The bidding hasn't stopped. We're at $66,000 now, $68,000. And I can see why. It looks great under the lights. The color's beautifully done. You look inside the bed, the spray-in bed liner, and the attention to detail is phenomenal.
Speaking of under, the rear axle on this is the 9 1/4 Salisbury style rear axle. Not the Dana 60 you might expect otherwise, but that's a Chrysler designed and Chrysler built rear axle, part of the 8 1/4 and 9 1/4 family.
They're calling this a frame-off restoration, and not only a frame-off, I'd say it's a very fresh restoration. Hasn't had a lot of miles put on it since it was done. $74,000, the final bid. All right, so much for number 8. Time to roll into number 7, another tie, but in this case, it's a pair of Chevrolets. We've got a 1972 Chevrolet C10 custom pickup truck and a 1957 3100 custom pickup truck, both of them selling for $82,500. Chevy C10 custom pickup truck rolling behind.
A lot of work done here. Billet grill, replacement hood, which I'm only guessing is fiberglass, and I may be guessing wrong, but this one dip painted in red. Really interesting copper and silver wheel treatment here. Big block lies beneath.
Yeah, I got to say, that's a billet grill. These are available from the aftermarket. And what looks like a big block, Mike, it almost fooled me too. This is actually an LS with coil covers that resemble big block valve covers, particularly fabricated Morosos type ones. But again, it's one of those things where these LS engines are not the prettiest things on the planet, so people go to extremes to doll them up.
Right, they hit that LS intake as well, but look at the truck bed, another little different part. What is it, cork? Look different to me.
Well, this one's been tubbed for clearance for those big wheels and tires. And and this is a vinyl type. That's some sort of vinyl applied or bonded to plastic bed. It looks like wood, but it's going to wear a lot better.
Yeah, below the rear bumper is kind of an interesting thing. While this is a V8, it has two pipes coming out the same side. Kind of a European vibe, if you ask me. But it's a dual exhaust system. They're clustered together.
I guess they hid the fuel door and put it in the bed, and this is actually a boat fuel cover. You have the key to take it off. Same as your yacht, I suppose.
It is pretty. I do like the wide and wider front and rear wheels. The rears have got to be something like 15 inches wide. That's good looking stuff.
I also like what they've done with the trim here. It is not bright, it is not polished, it is not chrome. It's a brushed finish, something BMW is doing now on some of their new cars.
$75,000 the price for that 1972 Chevy C10 custom pickup truck. We have a 1957 Chevy 3100 custom step-side pickup truck. Current bid $60,000.
Well, under the tail, we see a custom fuel cell fabricated of aluminum.
And the consignor points out it's been driven 3,000 miles since it was completed. So, Steve, as you say, it's been nicely dialed in.
This is the step side. The Cameo was possible this year with the fiberglass slab side fenders. This is the far more popular and useful step side.
Yeah, by the next year you can get the fleet side because everybody decided they really liked that Cameo look. They just didn't want the fiberglass fenders.
Love that front styling. It's very reminiscent of the 55 Chevy passenger car styling trickling up to the truck line.
$75,000. You see the bidder assistant there with the yellow. Continuing our countdown of the top 10 pickup sales from the Barrett-Jackson Collector Car Auction in Las Vegas. Time for number 6. In this case, it's a 1972 GMC K1500, meaning it's a four-wheel drive pickup, green over white. Final price on this one, $84,700.
Lot number 792.1, specialist update here. 1972 GMC K1500 custom pickup, professionally rebuilt in 2019. Finished in new green and white two-tone paint. Sets on 4-inch suspension lift, 35-inch tires, 17-inch wheels.
70,000. I'm fine. It's overdone. It's 75. Real quick, Trey.
Powered by a new 6.0-liter 8-cylinder LS engine paired with an automatic transmission.
The pipe. 75. Is that correct? 700 down pipe. It's 75. 1, 3. 1, 3. Down 3. It's 75. 3 down all in. Hold on. 2, 5. It's 5. It's 85. 7. 780,000 Sold 77,000 under 77,000.
All right, from number 6 to number 5. We go from 1972 all the way back to 1971. This one's a Chevrolet. It's a K20, meaning it's another four-wheel drive. And if you're one of those people that think that diesels are boring, well, check this out. It's got a Cummins turbo diesel under that hood, and the final price was $85,800, making this the number 5 sale of the Las Vegas auction. In 1971, it's a K20 custom.
Well, indeed, custom is the word. The strange thing on this one has a Cummins 5.9-liter inline-6 turbo diesel, so the heart of a Dodge Ram in a Chevy Cheyenne. This is the opposite of what most folks do. They put a Chevy in everything, but here we have a Dodge engine.
That's still a K-Series, so four-wheel drive, 20, so heavier duty. I'm surprised how many of these have survived, considering they're used as work trucks. How many came here now to Barrett-Jackson with straight, beautiful bodies restored? I would think there wouldn't be too many of these left.
Well, it's true. You know, a lot of the parts for these are available as reproduction. Companies like Golden Sun make brand new beds and doors and hoods. So even though the original parts might be banged up, you can get replacements. Now, as far as I know, nobody's doing a cab. But with that said, you can buy brand new Camaro and Mustang and even Challenger and Nova body shells, brand new from companies like Dynacorn. So it won't be long, I bet, before Chevy cabs are available.
I think they built this truck for usability with that diesel engine you can tow. They also did a spray-in bed liner so you can actually use the bed, not worry about scratching it. No wood or clean paint like many of these Restomod builds.
You often say here you couldn't build it for that, and still at 77 grand, I think you're getting close maybe to the build price.
Yeah, powder-coated frame underneath, all kinds of great touches. Dana 80 rear end, Dana 44 front end. It's got a lot of nice stuff underneath.
The wheels are options. Of course, these are not factory rims, but there's a number of varieties of wheels you can purchase. Bolt them right on.
$78,000, the final price for a 1971 Chevy K20 custom pickup. Well, taking the fourth spot in style is this 1952 GMC 3100. It's a 3-window. Cornish cream is the color, $383 under the hood. By the time it sold, the final price, it was $90,200. A 1952 GMC 3100 custom 3-window pickup truck.
I love this one. It's very, very tasteful, very clean. And I see something here under the hood, that blue dipstick blueprint. Well, this is a Blueprint Engines 383 crate engine. Of course, Blueprint Engines out of Kearney, Nebraska. They make some of the best crates going. Aluminum cylinder heads on this one here. And the beauty of these things is that you get a dyno printout with every crate engine you buy. That's pretty cool. I love how they've used some copper paint to set it apart from the cream-colored body. And with the chassis cam, we'll take an even better look at this one. There is that distinctive nose, 48 through 54. Independent front suspension. There's the underside of that deep oil pan. Turbo 400 automatic transmission. X-pipe for a little extra torque down low. Open drive on this one, not the torque Turbo would have had. 9-inch forward rear axle, super sanitary.
And super lowered. What a great stance. Of course, brand new wood in the bed. This would be the gas cap with the tank underneath. What a restful, creamy white paint job this has. Very sharp. I like what they've done here because it's customized, but it looks very, very stock.
I love those red lines. It's just a tasteful look. You know, back in the 60s, of course, 1967 or so, the Firestone wide oval red line was this big deal tire. Uniroyal made them too, the Tiger Paws. And it's a treatment that went away for a long time. And for a while in the 70s, the only car that ran them was a TR6 Triumph with red line tires. But now they're coming back. I think that's a great thing. They look good.
You know, we were at Darlington, South Carolina earlier this year for the NASCAR throwback race, and Goodyear put Blue Streak tires on all of the Cup cars there, heralding back to the 1970s when the race tires you wanted were Goodyear Blue Streaks.
I remember when I was working my way through college as a tire buster, you know, the tires would come white wall, but they had a blue coating on them and we'd have to wash them off. And if you didn't, well, suddenly you ended up with sort of Blue Streak tires. $82,000. All right, getting down to our final three in the top 10 pickup truck sales from the Barrett-Jackson Collector Car Auction in Las Vegas. And it's been interesting. We've actually had 3 1972 models that made the top 10 sales of the day. And this is the final one. It's a 1972 C10 pickup. It's a Cheyenne Super, and it came in at the super price of $93,500 to be number 3 on the auction. 1972 Chevy C10 Custom Cheyenne Super pickup.
Something a little different here, an LQ9 6-liter Chevy small block engine with the Holley EFI. Beautiful copper and white. Love these two-tone treatments.
Yeah, that's actually the motor I have in my 2005 Escalade at home, the 6-liter Vortec. Very reliable, very solid engine, but this is a beautiful Restomod. The copper paint, great two-tone.
That wood bed looks too pretty to haul anything in.
Yeah, same with the houndstooth interior. I wouldn't want to haul anybody in it either, but you kind of have to sit in these to drive them, right?
Well, Well, and you know, when it was sold in 1972, it was probably hauling something. I mean, the nature of the beast back then is, you know, now we have people who just buy trucks for the sake of driving trucks and driving around. 1972, that wasn't so much the case. Now it just sold for $85,000. Almost ready for the #1 pickup sale of the Barrett-Jackson collector car auction from Las Vegas. But first, we got to talk about #2 because it's really hard to miss. Check this out, a 1974 Chevy C20 four-wheel drive crew cab. It's a beast on every level because underneath that hood is a Duramax diesel pumping out 1,000 horsepower. Final price when it's sold, $121,000, making it the #2 truck sale of the Barrett-Jackson auction from Las Vegas. Big, huge beast rolling up onto the block right now, a 74 Chevy C20 custom pickup truck.
All right, let me put this in perspective here. I am almost 6 feet tall, and I almost come up to the hood on this truck, but not quite. What's going on here, Steve?
It's a Duramax turbo diesel under the hood with 1,000 horsepower. It's twin turbocharged. It's pretty amazing. Now, this is a crew cab in its second year. 1973 was the first year for the crew cab, which seated 6 comfortably and cost about $1,000 more, but it was only available on 3/4 and 1-ton pickups. But again, only with the 8-foot-long fleet-side bed and a huge 164-inch wheelbase.
So Chevy sold this body style as a 3+3 with a bench seat in front and in back, and marketed this particular package as the camper special. You could put a camper top on it, or a cap, or one of those slide-in big camper units. That's what this was designed for.
Back in the day, this was pretty much one of the first go-to vehicles for professional drag racers. You know, Top Fuel and dragsters and funny car guys and pro stock guys. You'd have these in the pits. Back in 74, 75, the U.S. Nationals, the Winter Nationals, the pits were packed with these 3+3 crew cabs. Disc brakes, front and rear.
Massive 38-inch tires. It's got those big Patagonia M trees. Boy, it's just a big beast of a car when it drives by. It is a massive truck.
The beauty of a diesel really is that you have lots and lots of torque without any need for the engine to spin a high RPM. You know, usually RPMs, well, they degrade the life. The engine kind of wears itself out a lot faster, but diesels just chug along at, say, 1,200 RPMs all day, all night, and make tons of torque.
I thought Patagonia made outerwear, but these are Patagonia MT tires. Mud traction, I guess.
B&M aluminum differential cover with a girdle. What is a girdle? Well, those 2 nuts that you see right there, those 12 points, those preload the differential bearing, the carrier bearing caps to prevent deflection under high loads.
$110,000 for that 74 Chevy C20 massive truck. What a beast of a pickup truck. 1,000 horsepower out of that Duramax diesel engine. So how do you top that? Well, check this out. We've got a 2021 Ram TRX Launch Edition, the #1 sale of the auction for pickup trucks at Las Vegas. Final price for this 700 horsepower beast, $139,700. 2021 Ram 1500. This is a TRX Launch Edition pickup.
Well, when the Hellcat engine came out, about 5 years ago, everybody thought, wow, that's pretty cool. They'll make maybe 500 of these and that'll be it. Nope. The Hellcat supercharged 6.2 Hemi has wound up in all kinds of vehicles, including, yes, finally, trucks like this. This goes 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, and it still weighs over 2 tons. These have an airbox filter, which processes 32 liters of air per minute, and Dodge, or Ram, says that's 4 times the effective rate of the Ford Raptor's filter, which tells you that Ram is going after Raptor with this TRX.
Well, the Raptor has been a huge sales success for Ford. Dealers can't keep them in stock. My friends are able to sell their used ones for almost the price of new. So Dodge, or Ram that is, has just taken it one step bigger and badder.
You know, I got to say, the first muscle pickup truck came from Dodge, 1962, the Custom Sport Special with a 413 big block and a half-ton 2-wheeler. Yeah, that was a muscle truck back in '62.
But to Mike's point, I mean, let's think about that Dodge Power Wagon, big 4x4 beast that rolled across the block, and there really is a straight lineage line from there to here, and it's interesting to look at they're both achieving the same goal in radically different ways. And while that was a Dodge Power Wagon, technically this is a Ram Power Wagon because Dodge no longer makes pickup trucks. Ram is a separate line.
You know, one big difference between the Raptor and the Ram is that Ford pickup trucks since 2014 have aluminum cabs, while Ram is still using steel, except for the fenders and hoods, still steel.
$127,000 for a 2021 Ram 1500 TRX Launch Edition. Well, that'll do it for our top 10 pickup sales from the Barrett-Jackson Collector Car Auction in Las Vegas. Want to see more from our top 10 series? Go to the thingy right over there. Like, click, subscribe, do all that stuff. You can enjoy some great automotive programming. I'm Rick DeBrule. Thanks for joining us.